My
know,
nigga
things like
think,
that.
you know what? I can put some lotion on. I'll be all right. I just got to reapply.
Right.
Just a little freshen up before.
Yeah, I go in there ashy. Right in the green room, lotioning up, throw a little cologne on, look in the mirror, last look, and I get ready to go on stage.
Oh my
Y'all got
gosh.
something in common.
What?
Who?
He's a Twitter troll.
Who's a Twitter
Now, hold
troll?
on, let me. He's a Twitter troll, but you know how to
The moment is almost deceptively casual, a snippet of backstage intimacy before the bright lights and roaring crowds. Chicago Sky forward Dorka Juhász is in the green room, engaged in the universal athlete's ritual of preparation. I go in the ashy right in the green room lotioning up, put a little cologne on, look in the mirror, last look, then I get ready to go on stage, she shares with a laugh on the Underground Lounge podcast, hosted by former NBA Sixth Man of the Year Lou Williams. The conversation is light, familiar. They joke about avoiding ashy skin and the pre-game routine. Then, Williams lobs a seemingly innocuous connection. Y'all got something in common. Juhász asks who. He's a Twitter troll, Williams says, presumably of his co-host or another guest. The reaction on Juhász's face is instantaneous and telling. Watch that face. A narrator in a subsequent video essay would point out. That's a smirk when she says Twitter troll. That's not playful banter. That's genuine.
Beauty of it though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's because they're,
bad one. But it was
these
just
new
it was
Now, here's where she's about to go in. I mean, she's about to go on a whole rant. Did y'all hear her slip up with these new fans? Just go ahead and say it. Caitlin Clark fans. She about to slip up and tell it like it is right now. Speak her mind. And this right here is why she get a bad rep. Listen to what she about to say, y'all.
It was a section of fans though.
a very, very specific one.
Yeah, you think that was helpful to the game?
Contempt. This smirk was the fuse. What followed was not a minor aside but a controlled detonation, a full-scale, deliberate critique that had been recorded 2 weeks prior but had remained buried. A silent grenade waiting to be discovered. When it finally surfaced, it didn't just create headlines. It poured gasoline on the smoldering tensions that had defined the entire 2024 WNBA season. Juhász, in a calm and considered tone, launched into an extended critique not just of anonymous online detractors, but of the very phenomenon that has reshaped the league, the massive, passionate, and often disruptive fan base, ushered in by rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment post-game comment. This was a premeditated exposition given to a sympathetic former player in Williams, and its contents laid bare a schism threatening to undermine the league's historic Caitlin Clark-fueled boom. The interview became a Rosetta Stone for deciphering the quiet resentment simmering beneath record-breaking attendance and television ratings. It gave voice to the side of the debate that views the league's explosive growth not as an unalloyed good, but as a fraught invasion carrying nasty energy. The context of the 2024 season cannot be overstated. Caitlin Clark, the NCAA's all-time scoring leader from the University of Iowa, entered the WNBA as the most hyped rookie in league history. Her impact was immediate and quantifiable. The Indiana Fever, who drafted her first overall,
Something that shit was.
It was like nasty energy.
Yeah.
Like hateful. Like really like ugh.
Yeah. What was your experience like for that? Because we only see what you respond to,
Yeah.
but you dealing with that shit all day long.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us are, and it's like you try to not, focus on it or whatever, but it be on under your pictures, not even just like DMs where you have to go searching for it. It be out there in the open, posts, YouTube. Like my parents be sending me videos of people making up stuff that happened, and they be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Is this?"
Now,
sold out every road arena, becoming a traveling box office phenomenon. WNBA league viewership soared, with early season games featuring Clark shattering records, sometimes seeing increases of 300% or more over the previous year. Jerseys flew off shelves, media coverage reached unprecedented levels, and a long overdue national conversation about women's sports was finally being held in mainstream outlets. For decades, the WNBA and its players had advocated for precisely this: more eyes, more investment, more respect. They played in near-empty gyms, took flights in the cramped middle seats of commercial airlines, and worked overseas in the off-season to make ends meet. The struggle was real, and the pride in having built a sustainable league through that struggle is profound. Then came Caitlin Clark, a white superstar from the heartland, whose flashy, deep three-point shooting and unparalleled court vision attracted a demographic the league had long struggled to capture en masse. Casual sports fans, many of them men, who had never before consistently watched women's basketball. To this new audience, Clark was the entry point. For many veterans, however, this felt less like a validation and more like an erasure. It was as if 2 decades of grinding in obscurity were being bypassed by a viral highlight reel. Juhász's interview captures this resentment in its purest form. When Williams asks about the section of fans that arrived this season and whether their impact was helpful to the game or was it harm, Juhász doesn't hesitate. It was like nasty energy, she says, her voice dripping with disdain. Like hateful, like...
Creators, look at her face. Look at her face. Now she finna go in on the content creators, y'all. Listen.
Real? I'm like, no, like, if it didn't come from me, it's not real. But it...
You hold your own, though.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I be like, show your face. Let's talk about it. And they never want to.
No, they won't.
As soon as you respond, they crickets or their page is deactivated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or they just screenshot it and then post it on another.
Yeah.
She responded to it.
Yeah. That's
It'd
they
be
want
more
low
men
attention.
Now, I gotta agree with her on this one. There is a lot of people in CCFC fan base that don't want to show their face.
really like ugh. This single adjective, nasty, became the lightning rod. Here was a player, a professional, in a league that had just experienced its most commercially successful period, characterizing the source of that success as fundamentally toxic. She wasn't merely criticizing the subset of online trolls. She was framing the entire influx through the lens of its worst elements. The attention itself, the very thing the league had coveted, was now being labeled corrupting. Juhász doesn't stop at generalization. She provides a catalog of grievances that flesh out what this nasty energy looks like in her daily life, moving the conflict from the abstract to the painfully personal. 1. The relentless digital onslaught. She describes an environment where criticism isn't confined to obscure corners of the internet. It be on under your pictures, not even just like DMs where you have to go searching for it. It be out there in the open post, YouTube. The hostility is inescapable, woven into the fabric of her social media presence. For athletes, social platforms are essential tools for branding, sponsorship, and connecting with genuine fans. This invasion effectively poisons that space. 2. The family front. Perhaps the most visceral complaint involves her family being dragged into the fray. My parents be sending me videos of people making up stuff that happened. They be like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Is this?" This crosses a universal line. The manufactured controversies and deceptive edits designed to vilify players don't just attack the athlete. They weaponize the concern of loved ones, turning a player's support system into a source of anxiety and forcing them to constantly debunk false.
Hating?
Yeah.
Men. What?
They just don't know how to
men.
flirt.
They be mad.
Yeah,
Oh my
niggas
God,
just
they
don't
be
know how to
so
flirt.
mad.
You said niggas don't know how to flirt. That's what that is.
That's what it is for real. Because they gotta
true.
pick. They gotta pick their argument. If it's
Right.
men on her page, in one sentence they gonna tell you they don't even watch the W, and then in the next they fucking
Right.
harassing people.
Exactly. How you
gotta
know their
pick one.
names?
You know what I'm saying?
They're awful.
Yeah, Derek was coming at my neck. I just remember when she said, "Who was the last women's that won the championship?" I said, "Damn, you gonna do me like that?"
You don't watch?
Narratives. 3. The anonymity factor. Alongside Lou Williams, Juhász mocks the faceless nature of much of this criticism. As soon as you respond, they cricket, or their page is deactivated. They just screenshot it and they post it on. Yeah, she responded. She issues a challenge that resonates with anyone who has witnessed toxic online behavior. Show your face. Let's talk about it. This critique is potent and difficult to refute. The internet's cloak of anonymity does empower a particularly cowardly form of aggression, where consequences are non-existent and discourse is reduced to drive-by insults. On these points, Juhász's frustration is not only understandable but widely relatable. The toxic underbelly of sports fandom, racist, sexist, and violent rhetoric hurled from anonymous accounts is a scourge across all leagues. The WNBA, with a player base comprised predominantly of black women, often bears a disproportionate brunt of this hatred, layered with misogyny and racism. When Juhász speaks of burner accounts and Twitter gangsters, she is identifying a very real problem. However, the critical omission in Juhász's account, and in the perspective of many veterans who share her view, is any meaningful introspection about the cycle that helped create this nasty fan response. The timeline matters. The friction did not begin with fans attacking veterans unprovoked. It began with veterans openly questioning Caitlin Clark's place and merit before she ever played a professional minute. It escalated with
Over my page, you know what I'm saying?
He buried his once he got
He's
called. He said
responding to
shit.
trolls now
Yeah,
on his
once
page.
he got
Yes.
called, he said, "We gonna have this conversation then." I like it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
personally like it. That ain't my personality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No?
I can be slick, but like I ain't finna dedicate a lot of time to that shit.
I actually just troll.
Cause I'm
It's when it
sensitive.
gets out of control sometimes.
on-court physicality that frequently crossed the line from competitive to targeted. Chicago Sky guard Chennedy Carter's blatant shoulder check on Clark, a cheap shot away from the play, was a watershed moment. The celebratory reaction from Carter and other players on social media afterward was seen by Clark's fans not as competitive fire, but as gleeful bullying. It intensified with incidents like the one involving Connecticut Sun guard DiJonai Carrington, who poked Clark in the eye during a game and was later seen liking social media posts suggesting the contact was intentional. Each of these incidents, the verbal dismissals, the physical highlights, celebrated as welcome to the league moments, the social media endorsements of antagonism were gasoline tossed on the nascent loyalty of Clark's massive fan base. These fans, many new to the WNBA, witnessed their favorite player being treated as an outsider, a recipient of what they perceived as unjust hazing. Their defensive posture was, in many ways, a predictable reaction. When Juhász and others then characterized the entire fan base by the retaliatory actions of its worst members without acknowledging the initial provocations, it creates a profound double standard. Veterans can keep it real and compete hard, but when fans keep it real in defense of their player, it's nasty, hateful energy. This double standard is encapsulated in Lou Williams's casual dismissal during the interview. They don't even watch the WNBA. It's the ultimate gatekeeping retort, designed to invalidate any opinion from a new fan. It ignores the fact that these fake fans are the ones who bought the tickets that created electrifying atmospheres, tuned in to set ratings records, and whose engagement made the league a constant topic on sports debate shows. The message sent is paradoxical. We wanted your attention, but only if you arrived with a pre-existing, reverential knowledge of our history. Your interest, if it originates from a single superstar, is illegitimate. Clark's silence and the veteran's megaphone. The starkest contrast in this entire saga is between the conduct of Caitlin Clark and that of some of her most vocal critics. Clark has navigated the season with a demeanor beyond her years. She has consistently refused to engage with the drama. When asked about the physical play, she has repeatedly stated it's part of the game and makes her better. When asked about other players' comments, she deflects with praise for the league's competitiveness. She has taken notorious cheap shots, gotten up, and made her free throws. She has been the model of a player letting her game do the talking. Meanwhile, veterans have utilized podcasts, press conferences, and social media to amplify their grievances. Juhász's interview is the clearest example. A long-form, unchallenged platform to frame the narrative. Angel Reese's "You Can't See Me" gestures toward Clark's bench, Chennedy Carter's defiant non-apology, and DiJonai Carrington's social media activity all represent a very public, very deliberate campaign of othering. They have shown their faces and owned their perspectives, which Juhász rightly demands of her critics. But when the inevitable backlash arrives from Clark's fans, it is categorized not as passionate fandom or even justified pushback, but purely as harassment. The ability to initiate conflict, but not tolerate the reaction, is the central friction point. Juhász's interview, therefore, transcends gossip. It reveals the WNBA at an existential crossroads, forced to choose between two identities. Identity A, the Protected Legacy League. This is the identity implied by Juhász and like-minded veterans. It prioritizes the sanctity of the league's culture as built by its pioneers. It views new fans with skepticism, expecting them to learn the history and earn their stripes before their opinions are valued. It sees Caitlin Clark as a transient phenomenon, and her fans as fair-weather interlopers who will dilute the league's core values. This approach is rooted in a justifiable protectiveness, a desire to honor the struggle that came before the boom. The risk, however, is insularity and stagnation. It risks alienating the very market forces necessary for the next leap in player salaries, broadcast rights, and overall cultural relevance. Identity B, the expansionist Big Tent League. This identity fully embraces the Caitlin Clark effect as a once-in-a-generation opportunity. It understands that in the entertainment economy, stars drive business. It welcomes new fans unconditionally, believing that some percentage of them will become lifelong supporters of the league as a whole. It manages the toxic elements with strong league policies and player support, but avoids broad-brush condemnations of an entire fan demographic. This approach is pragmatic and growth-oriented. The risk is alienating the veteran core, the players who feel their legacy is being sold out for quick clicks and ticket revenue. The brutal truth the league must confront is that it needs elements of both, but the current trajectory is toward destructive conflict, not synthesis. The veterans are not wrong that toxicity exists, or that some new fans are dismissive of the league's past. The new fans are not wrong that their heroine has been treated with remarkable public disdain by her peers, or that their passion is being met with gatekeeping. The fumble of the cultural moment. History offers clear lessons on how to handle a paradigm-shifting superstar. When LeBron James entered the NBA, veterans competed fiercely against him, but they didn't spend seasons publicly ridiculing his bandwagon fans or suggesting the attention he brought was nasty. They understood his stardom was good for business, their business. The league office marketed him aggressively, and the rising tide did, in fact, lift all boats. The WNBA, through a combination of passive league leadership and active player resentment, is fumbling this cultural moment. Instead of channeling the unprecedented energy into a stable new normal, it is allowing that energy to be siphoned off into a civil war. The narrative is no longer, look at this amazing league, but look at all the fighting within this league. What happens if this resentment successfully drives away the casual fan? What if, weary of being called racist, bandwagoners, or nasty, Clark's fans simply disengage? The league would face a catastrophic cliff. Arenas would quiet, ratings would plummet, and the lucrative new TV deals and sponsorships would be reevaluated. The veterans who longed for the purity of the pre-Clark era would find themselves back in that same obscurity, only now with the bitter taste of what could have been. Juhász's 2-week-old interview is more than a controversy. It is a prophecy. It is a stark warning of a league at war with its own success. The nasty energy she decries is, in part, a reflection of the toxic stew of modern fandom, but it is also a mirror held up to the league itself, reflecting a cycle of provocation, a failure of leadership, and a perilous inability to see that the greatest threat to the WNBA's future may not be the fans it has attracted, but the decision to treat them as invaders in their own house. The choice is clear: build a bigger table, or fight over who gets to sit at the old one. The lotion in the green room is meant to prevent ashiness, a temporary fix for a surface-level condition. The divide Juhász articulated, however, goes far deeper than skin. It is a fracture in the league's foundation, and it will require much more than a simple reapplication to heal.